From the opening moment, fans felt the tremor. Could it be true, or just another wave of sensational headlines? What exactly is HYBE hiding behind closed doors, and why does it involve Jungkook and Taehyung? Tonight, we dig deep, peeling back the layers of official statements, insider whisperings, and the emotional undercurrent rippling across ARMY. The question on everyone's lips, is HYBE protecting something or someone? The rumor mill exploded the moment suggestions surfaced that HYBE might have intentionally obscured personal moments between Jungkook and Taehyung, moments that could shift the narrative for millions of fans. And then came the whispers. Internal emails, delayed uploads, content edits, encrypted clues that something doesn't add up. But without undeniable proof, we're left asking, how far will a global entertainment titan go to manage the image of its biggest stars? At the heart of it is what could be the simplest, most powerful force in entertainment: authenticity. Fans crave raw, unfiltered connection, believing in the humanity of their idols. So when even a hint emerges that HYBE has sanitized interactions, cut backstage smiles, altered subtitles, muted dialogue, the reaction is visceral. Every fan comment demanding transparency turns into a collective heartbeat, pulsing louder each time another clip goes missing. Endless speculation swirls. Some insist HYBE is protecting the idols from media scrutiny, or worse, preserving their carefully curated brand image. Others claim it's routine corporate damage control, trimming anything that might spark controversy, distract from album launches, or derail carefully planned tours. What if behind the scenes, contracts mandate staged interactions, and genuine ones get edited out? The more fans dig in, the deeper the implications feel. Then comes the emotional tide. Fans recalling when Jungkook's laughter met Taehyung's playful glance, moments once unfiltered, now seemingly erased from official releases. They ask, why don't we see them being silly together anymore? Where's the authenticity? Every missing clip becomes a mystery. Every silence, a question mark demanding an answer. HYBE silence, or muted response, only fuels the fire. No press release, no full explanation. Just a standard statement about editorial decisions and protecting artist privacy. But that leaves a hollow echo. Is this corporate caution or corporate control? The emotional undercurrent grows stronger as each fan debate spills into late-night live streams, Twitter threads, and Reddit deep dives where the question is always, why? In a world where connection matters more than ever, what happens when transparency meets opacity? And when millions question your motives, what do you reveal, and what do you hide? For HYBE, these aren't just PR decisions. They're existential confrontations with trust. As the story evolves, one thing is clear: fans refuse to be pacified. The demand for authenticity isn't just a buzzword, it's a movement. And as long as questions remain, so will the pressure. HYBE could respond with clarity and forge new bonds of trust, or risk widening the rift between polished image and heartfelt reality. Tonight, the camera lingers on that question. Why hide something that brings fans closer? Because when you silence laughter, you amplify the silence. And in that silence, the real story emerges. One that HYBE may not have planned to tell, but ARMY insists on hearing. Stay tuned, because if the whispers are right, there may already be answers waiting in the wings. And when they finally surface, the global stage will never look the same. But what if the truth is darker than silence? What if the smiles we see on camera are only part of the picture, and the rest, the raw, unfiltered truth of Jungkook and Taehyung's relationship with HYBE, lies in what we don't see? When Taehyung was rumored to be dating someone outside the K-pop world, and when Jungkook began exploring his solo path with increasing boldness, fans noticed something peculiar. Their interactions seemed carefully choreographed, or worse, edited out entirely. Long gone were the days of spontaneous backstage moments, eye contact full of mischief, or whispered jokes between the two. Instead, what replaced them was distance, clinical, cold, and almost too deliberate to be coincidence. Could it all be a coincidence? Or is this a symptom of something deeper, something orchestrated? Behind the glossy press releases and multi-million-dollar productions, HYBE stands as a fortress. But even fortresses cast shadows. Insiders have described the company's internal operations as meticulous to the point of rigidity, where every second of footage is combed through, every word spoken by idols is double-checked, and where deviation from the narrative is simply not allowed. Jungkook and Taehyung, once inseparable on screen, now find themselves at the center of a growing mystery. What is being hidden, and more importantly, why? The fans are not passive in this story. They are the investigators, the witnesses, the record keepers. They document the subtle shifts, Jungkook's increasingly guarded body language, Taehyung's cryptic posts on Instagram. A pattern begins to emerge, carefully disguised, perhaps unintentionally leaked, but unmistakably there for those willing to see it. They ask the questions no one else dares to ask. Why did HYBE blur out a moment that fans claim showed a meaningful glance between the two? Why was a live clip abruptly cut when Taehyung mentioned a private memory involving Jungkook? Why do these accidental edits only seem to involve these two artists? Even in the face of mounting pressure, HYBE remains tight-lipped. But silence, as every journalist knows, can speak volumes. Then comes a startling twist, one that ignites even greater suspicion. A former staff member, speaking anonymously, hints at internal policies that discourage public displays of closeness between certain members, especially when such dynamics might spark intense fan shipping or derail solo career plans. The word control surfaces again and again. Not just public image control, but emotional management of artists who, after years of global fame, are still bound by invisible chains. The emotional weight of it all is staggering. Fans have watched Jungkook grow from a shy teenager to a fearless performer, and Taehyung from a playful dreamer to a complex, introspective artist. Their bond has been a beacon for millions, a symbol of real friendship in an industry often accused of faking it. If that's being suppressed, it's not just deceptive, it's heartbreaking. And what if Jungkook and Taehyung don't know the full extent of it? What if decisions are being made without their awareness? Executive choices that mute their freedom, filter their reality, and fracture a connection they thought was sacred. The story doesn't stop there. The fans dig deeper into past interviews, deleted posts, split-second cuts in music videos. Some even cite body language experts to analyze how the two behave around each other in recent footage. The verdict? Something has changed. And not organically, is it fear? Pressure? Corporate mandates? HYBE's refusal to provide transparency becomes its own character in this unfolding drama. Every unexplained edit, every dodged question, every carefully worded public statement becomes another log on the fire. The suspicion now is not just that something is being hidden, but that this silence is intentional, strategic, and deeply embedded in how HYBE operates. So we return to the central question. Why is HYBE hiding this from Jungkook and Taehyung? Is it about marketing? Image control? Or is it something even more human? A fear that real connection might outshine the product? As the story intensifies, so does the emotional resonance. The global fanbase is not merely watching, they're mourning what they believe might be the loss of something real, something honest. And in the vacuum left by corporate silence, they're building their own truths. Some are hopeful, insisting the bond is still strong, merely hidden for protection. Others are furious, accusing HYBE of turning art into manipulation. The unanswered questions stack higher. What conversations are being had behind HYBE's boardroom doors? Are Jungkook and Taehyung aware of the extent to which their interactions are filtered? Could there be contract clauses forbidding them from speaking out? And most importantly, how much longer can this veil hold before someone finally breaks the silence? In this war of optics and emotion, truth is the ultimate casualty. But truth has a way of rising. And the moment someone, an insider, a member, even HYBE itself, finally opens that door, it won't be a quiet revelation. It will be a reckoning. Stay with us. This isn't over, because the world deserves to know. Why is HYBE really hiding this from Jungkook and Taehyung? And if the truth comes out, will it break the very foundation fans believed was unshakable? As fans grow louder, their voices echo through every social platform, calling out what they believe is more than miscommunication, it's suppression. a suppression of emotion, connection, maybe even love. And in that silence, a dangerous narrative brews. Because if HYBE is controlling the image of its artists so tightly that even their real friendships are sanitized, what does that say about the authenticity fans have come to believe in for over a decade? There's something sacred about the bond fans have watched blossom between Jungkook and Taehyung. It's been a story told through subtle gestures, quiet words, shared glances, moments never meant for the script. Those moments are why fans stayed. Why they believed in something beyond the stage lights and awards. When those moments start disappearing from the frame, replaced by cold edits and generic interactions, the illusion begins to crack. And now, fans are beginning to fight back. They're archiving footage, comparing broadcasts, pointing out inconsistencies. In a clip from 2021, Jungkook reaches for Taehyung during a behind-the-scenes shoot, just a casual touch, nothing extraordinary. But in the final cut, it's gone. Cut mid-frame, replaced by a transition. Why remove something so minor unless it wasn't? That edit is one of dozens now under scrutiny. Fans call it the vanishing tape, a growing compilation of lost moments that seem to rewrite history in real time. Some claim this isn't just about public image, it's a strategic cultural move. Taehyung is preparing for solo projects. Jungkook is being positioned as a global icon. A close relationship between them might be seen as a distraction, as one industry analyst speculated anonymously. The suggestion? HYBE wants clean, marketable solo narratives. Intimacy, real or perceived, gets in the way. But what price does that demand from the idols themselves? Imagine being told that your most genuine friendship, the person who's walked beside you since your teenage years, is now too much for public eyes. That your laughter, your connection, your shared history, things you never intended to monetize, are now liabilities. The psychological toll would be crushing. And that's where this story takes a darker, more emotional turn, because fans aren't just fighting to preserve a pairing. They're fighting to preserve truth. The truth of who Jungkook and Taehyung were, who they are, and who they might no longer be allowed to be. This isn't just a K-pop controversy anymore. It's a reflection of something deeper within the entertainment industry. At what point does storytelling become rewriting? And when does protecting a brand become violating the people behind it? Even more chilling are whispers that Jungkook himself has begun asking questions internally. Sources, unconfirmed but consistent, have stated that he requested to review certain edits before release. Was he curious? Concerned? Or had he begun to notice the erasure? 2. If Jungkook suspects something is being kept from him, the implications are seismic. For an artist who built his career on openness and emotional vulnerability, to feel hidden from the very narrative he's living in would be a betrayal not just of trust, but of self. And Taehyung? His social media presence has grown more cryptic. He posts less, smiles less, and when he does speak, it's often in metaphors. One particular Instagram story, showing a blurred mirror and a caption reading, "Even reflections lie," sent fans into emotional freefall. Was it a reference? A confession? A clue? The deeper fans dig, the more they discover patterns, rehearsed interactions, coordinated wardrobe changes, seating arrangements during interviews that carefully separate Jungkook and Taehyung. Some say it's coincidence, others strategy. But to many, it's becoming impossible to ignore the possibility of control. And now, a question emerges that chills the spine. Is it possible HYBE has been crafting a separate reality for Jungkook and Taehyung to live within, one they're not fully aware of? If that's true, then this isn't just about content control. It's manipulation. And that's a line no company should ever cross. Fans are no longer waiting. They're organizing, launching hashtags, trending demands for transparency. Hashtag free the truth. Hashtag let them be. Hashtag HYBE explain are all lighting up global timelines. This isn't mere fandom anymore. It's a movement. Meanwhile, journalists dig in, asking HYBE's PR teams pointed questions, only to be met with vague replies about respecting artist privacy. But if the privacy being referenced is one-sided, if it's only about what fans can see, not what artists are allowed to express, then is it truly privacy or just censorship with a polished name? This is where it becomes unbearable. Because for all the analysis, all the theories, there's a real, human cost at the center of this storm. Two young men who gave their youth to the world, now caught in a shadow war between authenticity and control. Jungkook and Taehyung might never say a word about it, but silence isn't always consent. Sometimes it's survival, and still, fans wait. They wait for a moment, a slip, a confession, an unscripted whisper that confirms what they've feared. Or maybe what they've always known, because if HYBE really is hiding something from Jungkook and Taehyung, it's not just about a company's image. It's about truth, loyalty, and the future of storytelling in K-pop. And if that truth comes to light, it may change everything, not just for HYBE, but for Jungkook, for Taehyung, and for every fan who ever believed their connection was real.